put this thing on the tripod. We're live. I clip this thing in there without falling off. Don't fall off. All right. There we go. First time I've been alive in a very long time. Let me see what's going on here. How do we get the... How do you get to the... There it is. All right. You guys are always first. So what's been going on? I haven't been able to work on the M5 as much as I wanted to because we're running these other channels and it's driving me crazy and I'm old and things like that. Let me try to get... That chat is not ideal. I only see 2 lines. So I thought I'd just go live because just doing little busy work on it. We can't really make a video yet. And tomorrow we have to go do cooking videos. So it's gonna be Wednesday before we get to actually remove this engine out of this car. And we'll go over here in a little bit. Everybody gets in here and we'll see. I have to go finger through the comments here. Let me see. How's it going, everybody? So yeah, it's just this shop is a freaking mess, boys. I mean a mess. I'll show you here in a little bit. So I've been working on it the last couple days. The engine's ready to drop out. Here in a few minutes, we'll go show you, we'll put the lift up and I'll show you everything. If you guys are wondering what it's like to take one of these S85s out of the car, it's actually not bad. Probably one of the easier ones I've ever done. The only problem is you have to be so careful because from owning one of these cars before, I know that what everything costs. So when you're unhooking everything, you have to be so careful not to break anything because everything's hundreds of dollars. So I'm gonna toggle these. Let's see, what can I do here? All messages are visible, yes, because top chat is not doing it here. How's it going, Wally? Oh, good deal. Everybody's in here. So yeah, I mean, the live streams, they're not really like a monetized situation, really. But it's nice where I can just talk to you guys. And we actually have faster internet now. I should have checked if I was on the right router before we started this. I did not. So if it's laggy, let me know and we'll switch. But, you know, I thought, well, let's just talk to these guys. We haven't talked to you guys in a very long time on live chat. Keep the M5. Here's the deal. I'm getting modestly tired of working on stuff. The G-Wagon's broken again too, by the way, in case you're wondering how things roll around here. We'll talk about it here in a few minutes too. I'm getting tired of working on stuff all the time because I'm so busy with other stuff. Well, I think I'm not going to keep this M5. It just doesn't make sense. Well, right now, he's spending money on it. We'll have to keep it. But I'm not against buying another one after this one and building that too, because M5s are those unique cars you actually find for a decent price and they're worth a lot. They're not worth a lot broken because everybody's scared to death of them. They're worth a lot fixed and they seem to stay fixed, which is unlike other cars, all right? And we have that. Also want to tell you guys, some of you guys already know, why don't you fix and sell it after that's what we're gonna do. I did sell the 1600. I did sell my blue E39. I did sell my green Scion XV. And let me see what else. You guys know I sold the M3, made a video about that. So I cleared the stock out. So we still have the Porsche, the G-Wagon, this M5, and the Toyota Sequoia. And I did buy a brand new car hauler too here a while back. And my plan is I would like to sell my Sequoia pretty soon. I want to buy a new tow vehicle because right now my Sequoia has 255,000 miles on it. For a Toyota Sequoia, that's not very much. But every time we get 5 or 6 hours away or more from home, it's kind of in the back of your mind. And it's just, I would like to have something new to match our new trailer. So if I wanted to go to California or somewhere very far to pick up a car, we could. Because let's face it, I don't take vacations. I mean, that kind of is the vacation, a workcation, right? Let me see here. I don't know why these questions are not staying up. Let me see. 46 driver gear revs, but doesn't move. On that, you can change the training fluid in the filter and hope it's not too late. If it is, still keeps doing it. Broke the drum or something horrible. But anyhow, that's my plan anyway. I'm not against buying more M5s. That may very well be what we do. Everybody seems like they have a broken M5 laying around. And that's why I'm not, on this one, we decided to go ahead and fix this engine. Go ahead and buy the timing tools, go and buy everything for the S85. It's not that much stuff. And that'll give me free reign as far as pulling them apart from here on out. And so yeah, this car actually is a lot better than I thought it was gonna be. It's actually in pretty good shape. The rod bearing thing, who knows? Who knows what's going on? The next steps on this will be to pull it apart. We can't tell anything else. I can't order anything, can't do anything until the engine's on the engine stand. And we can take it apart, take all the rods and pistons out, and take the crankshaft out, and take this out to the machine shop. Is the crank turnable? I think so. But that'll mean that our bearings, we'll have to get different rod bearings. That's not a big deal. I'd rather have the machine shop match bearings if they have to turn the crank, match it to it. So we don't have to worry about something not being correct with the size. And we could reassemble it with our new rod bolts and everything like that. So the next thing is, like I said, get on the stand. We're gonna make a video of that. Also, I'm so curious about the vanos line. We're gonna hook that to some air. My maroon car was horrible when I took it out. It was leaking profusely. I think this one's gonna be just wide open, just blowing wide open and not hold any pressure at all. So the question is now, like this car doesn't really have any, what the hell's look at the state of this place, boys. Oh my God. Oh my God. So yeah, sitting on the engine cradle still, it's just sitting here. But like all the hoses, everything like that, a bucket of blue goo, was like all perfect. And I think a lot of that's attributed to the radiator being, look how clean the subframe is too. Like any other BMW, it'd just be covered in oil. But they split the radiator in two different parts. And so it has two upper hoses and two lower hoses. And I think that saved a lot of the stuff on these cars. They don't have the overheating problem. They don't have the breaking down of the parts problem that most cars do. But how far to go with this thing? A few things we got to do. We got to test all the vanos stuff out. I want to take the throttle actuators out. We're going to see what's what with that. We'll put the bore scope on the catalytic converters, even though these usually don't have that problem. Things like the fuel injectors. A lot of guys saying the fuel injectors will stick open on these and blow the engine. I thought that was only an LS thing, but we want to be very careful with these. Maybe we'll, at the minimum, maybe try to send these out to get them clean. We might have somewhere locally to get these cleaned. And then everything's out of here. There's one coolant hose that goes over to a little pump inside the fender. I got to take the fender well out, take that off. We're just going to bolt the AC compressor, lay it off to the side, zip tie it out of the way. And then the two lines going to the oil filter housing in the bumper, we got to take those out, probably take the bumper off, lay them over the engine. And then we're done. That's all this thing needs at all for the engine to come out. And then things like the power steering reservoir, it's not actually leaking. Like usually they're all nasty. It's not that bad. I might snag that. You saw it in the video of the pulley. One outer pulley was totally destroyed. I took it off. We need to replace all the pulleys. Somebody's replaced the belts on it. Obviously, we do the vanos line. They're going to take the vanos pump apart, if that's possible. I'm going to inspect that. Also the oil pump, if we can take it apart and clean it, if it's not trash, we'll do that. If not, we'll replace either one of those things. And then the SMG clutch, somebody's had the bolts out. This thing will not, I don't like how close this is. You know what I mean? Somebody's had the bolts out of the transmission. We could tell that. I may very well, if there's any question about the clutch, if it's not brand new, we're going to replace it. But those clutches have gone up in price a lot. They're about $600, $650 for a Sachs clutch. But am I not going to replace that when it's out? Hell no. Thing barely fits in here. Sketchy. If I drop you guys, say a prayer for my iPhone, because it didn't make it. Individual throttle bodies on this car. This car already has ITBs on it. Oh, I mean separate them, take the plastic manifolds off. Here's the thing. Yes, they make a kit to do that. I could do that, no problem at all. They make little plug-in things to bypass the mass airflow sensors to make that into, I forgot what it's been a while. I can't remember what the deal was. They make that kit anyway. However, if I do that, there's no PVC system anymore. If somebody wants to buy this thing in a city, that's not going to be okay with their inspection. It's going to be a problem. Would I like to do that? Yes, that'd be awesome. But we'll probably not on this one. A lot of you guys said too, to make this a stroker engine. You know how much a stroker kit costs for one of these? $12,000. That was kind of a deal on it. That would just blow any kind of logic at this car out of the water. Spinner 4K on transmission, switch lever. You name it, just got done. Yeah, I still have a whole solenoid rack for my old car. The guy before me had replaced. That wasn't the problem. And that being that inertia sensor in the fender was a problem because it had been wrecked and that was crushed. That was keeping the SMG from working correctly. But I have a whole nother rack for this thing. So while we have that out, we got to check all the solenoids, got to make sure there's no play in them. And yeah, I mean, everybody wants to do this or that with this car, but it's got to be a little bit careful with it. We can't just blow all the money because when I go to sell it, we're going to have more in it than what it's worth in a second. And I think moving cars in this channel is probably the way to go instead of sitting on stuff. We tried to, we had 9 cars here for a year or more sitting on stuff, but it gets to the point where you can't make new videos because you don't have new cars to make new videos on, and then you're sitting around with nothing to do. And yeah, this car, we bought everything for the maintenance on it. It still needs, I need to buy the tires for it. I bought all the control arms, everything for it, rear upper control arms, all the stuff that we know that goes bad. We pulled the dry shaft as disconnected. The Weebo was great. The carrier bearing was great on this thing. The inside, we steamed it inside with the steamer a little bit, cleaned it up a little bit. It doesn't need much. It's very close. I'll probably pull the seats out anyway, just to collect whatever clutters under them and throw it away just so it's nice and clean. About the scanner I recommended, I have no idea which one you're talking about. Motul or liquid moly. We have Motul sitting here right now. I just got for this car. You can use whatever you want though. Cycle Sport Services. Thank you for you helped me lots. E90. I appreciate it. And but yeah, like I was saying, what we're gonna do with this I'm gonna take you back off there for a minute. I'll show you around. This disaster right here, we just stuck the oil pan back on top. Today or tomorrow, we need to like attach all that. This is gonna have to get set back in the X6 to some degree so we can put the front bumper back on, so we can reassemble that car, because that car is probably getting hauled back to its owner in Alabama. Now we got the, holy crap. Now we got the M5 kind of wrangled in a little bit. Our plan is the next day or two, the engine's out on the stand. We're going to hook the Sequoia to this M5, pull it out of the shop, and roll the X6 back in here to reassemble. A lot of you guys asking too, what happened with the E46? I took the E46 out of here a few days ago because he had to go on the M5. Exactly what the situation was with the E46. The engine's in, the engine's done. It runs really good. I had bought what I thought at the time was URO brand hard pipes for the intake. I could not find the factory ones when I was looking those up. 3 days after I bought those intake pipes, I found the factory ones for 150 bucks. So anyhow, I thought it was URO brand, got them in here. They were not. And when I put them on, they fit okay. They're a little weird, the bolt holes lining up. And thought, well, okay, we'll go and put it back together. Otherwise, we're going to have to wait on other ones. It should be totally good. Started it up. It's not good. It's not good at all, boys. It's just a steady drip out of the one. And the bad part about it is those pipes aren't really any cheaper than like a name brand one. But when I bought them, I had a whole bunch of different ones in front of me, and I thought that was URO brand, but it was not. It was one previous one I clicked on. My bad. You cannot use anything that's even slightly not totally factory on these cars because it'll bite you in the ass just like that did me. So now we got to pull the intake back off and replace those two pipes. But on the upside, other than that, that car mechanically is good. We need to reassemble the interior, put the door panels back in. We Alcantara all that stuff, pop the headliner back in. That car needs to go to paint a little bit. It's got a little bit of faded paint on the top and on the hood and one little scuff on it. And once that's done, that car actually is pretty decent. And that was a 325 XI. That's the only reason why I saved that car. It was an all-wheel drive car. Let me see. Foxwell, a lot of guys use a Foxwell for the transmission adaptions. C310 reset transmission adaptions. Yes, it does. Must be very patient to work on those engines. Yes. How's it going, Mr. Cash from Jacksonville? Mr. Car Tool C310. I don't know. I haven't been up on the scanners lately. To be totally honest with you, I've kind of been out of the loop on all that stuff. We just got a new jump pack and top down today. We'll do a video on that tomorrow. One thing I will not say no to is jump packs, because we, being the BMW business, German car business, we use those things all the time because, you know, all these cars go dead if they sit a little bit. And we were using that Audi one for the longest time. I had hot wired it. I had bypassed the little deal on the cables. So I could actually just hook a car up with no battery and just drive it in here with no battery, no alternator off the jump pack. And that worked good for a couple years, and it started kind of expanding up and blowing up like a balloon. So we threw it out, kicked it out of the shop before it ignited the whole place up. Let me see here. But yeah, I don't know. Thought I'd touch base with you guys a little bit. The G-Wagon. Oh, getting off subject here. The G-Wagon. It's blown coolant lines since I've had it off and on, and broke the thermostat housing on that engine. It's twin turbo V8. It gets so hot it ruins all the plastic under the hood. And we done an outlet on the back driver's side of the cylinder head, a plastic hose outlet that sticks in there. That was all rotten. There was a heater hose that was rotten. Thermostat, like I said, another hose or two. And so I was driving it yesterday to go to the store, and I looked down and the low coolant light was on. And I was like, oh man, here we go. And I hit the brakes, immediately whipped it around. I was only about 2 miles from my house. I figured I had maybe 2 minutes to drive it back. That's a $20,000 engine used in that G-Wagon. And I got about to where a little store is, about a mile from my house, and it went from normal, buried in the red. And all the lights came on, went down to where I could barely touch the gas. And I'd pulled in the store, and two other people I knew were there. They're like, oh, you want to ride home? I was like, oh, no, we're going to let her cool off, and we're going to try to make it, right, melt her down. But no, I let it cool off for a good 10, 15 minutes. And I just started it up, hit the gas for maybe 10 seconds, and let off, turned the key off, and rolled to my driveway. So it had blown a driver's side turbo coolant line, which is about the size of your pinky. And that was directly pouring onto the belt. So I also had no power steering while it was leaking because the belt was slipping. And looking at today, it's going to need both sides. They were saying 5 hours to take off the water pump pulley and idler pulleys and jack the engine up, take the engine mount bolt out, jack the engine up, and all this nonsense to get the one bolt out for the turbo coolant line. So I bought both sides while we were in there, and I was looking at it earlier. Just barely touched the other line going to by the throttle body, and just broke off and crumbled in my hands. And so you have that to deal with, I guess. Keep you busy. It was going, man, that thing. I love the G-Wagon. It's very unique. Is it fun to drive? No. It handles like a tractor with almost 600 horsepower, if you can imagine that. So a corner at 40 miles an hour will put you to your death, to your doom and gloom. So it is very dangerous. Don't let anybody else drive that. It's just so dangerous. And it gets like 8 miles a gallon if you baby it. Let me see here. One thing I want to talk about, do any of you guys watch Savage Garage? Have you seen that thing about Randy dying in a car wreck? I haven't seen any details on it, but I tell you what, being a YouTuber for about 7 years now, you see that sometimes YouTubers will die, and it really is sad because I can relate to them, I guess, pretty decently because I do the same thing. And you're out driving a car, and it could just all go bad. Really is a shame. Definitely our heart go out to his family and friends and everybody else on that channel. I'm sure they're up trying to figure out what to do at this point. Yes, the red M5 is for sale again, Rick. Is for sale in St. Louis. I'm still in touch with the guy that bought it. Real nice guy, but he's thinking like everybody else is thinking. What assets do I want to hold on to at this point in time? And what assets aren't so important to me I need to sell just in case everything would crash out. Yes, Jesse, what's your question? I'm doing it on the phone. I don't like that as much. See those Chinese M54 aluminum valve covers on eBay? Yes, I have. I had bought at one point in time, a couple years ago, one of the aluminum can't remember, thermostat housings. What I'm trying to say. And I wanted to tighten it down with a 1/4" drive ratchet, and I was doing the tightening sequence on it, and you hear a crack. And I looked at it, and it split it right down the middle. I assume that the aluminum valve cover would be exactly the same way. Was the lowest price you've been able to snag an E39 for? I bought them for like $500, but you're not going to be able to do that anymore. If you buy one for $500, you're not going to want it. It's going to be scrap. Let me see here. Jesse has a 2005 545i. Won't engage into gear. There could be a lot of things going on with that. First thing you have to do is check the tranny fluid and see if it has tranny fluid in it. You have to get out of the car to check that one. 2005 545. 6 HP 26, 24. 2005 is right at the edge of the 5 HP and 6 HP stuff. I don't know what that car has exactly. Call McGee, thank you very much. No, I was never going to throw rod bearings back in it after we've seen the scratches in it. Scratches, any of that stuff's okay if you can't feel anything, but with the rods the way they are, from doing many engines before, once the bearing spids in the rod, usually they're not any good, but you have to at least get it checked at the minimum. Now, other guys that wrote me on here, they had the same problem. The crank actually was not out and the rods weren't out. So I doubt that's the case, to be totally honest with you. But it very well could be, but the machine shop will be the ones to do that, not this old man. However, I did talk to Eric at I Do Cars. That's the guy I sold my yellow Porsche to. He does the YouTube channel also, and he has an S85. He also has a good S85 crankshaft and good S85 rods. So we'll be staying in touch with him on that via the machine shop. And if they say, no, you need this or that, then we'll go get this or that from him. And away we go. Let me see. Love the M62T videos. Those videos are, I mean, the last one we did it for the guy that bought my red M5. And because I knew if I didn't do that engine for him, nobody was going to do it, right? There was nobody anywhere close to me or anywhere that I know of that will do that job. And I thought, well, what the hell, we'll just do it one more time. And it turned out really good. I'm not sure if he still has that E39 or not. That was the last one that was on the channel. It was like hell, I don't remember, like a bluish green color. What the hell, reprogram CCC sub button in place, original sub button? No, it sounds like a horrible idea. Any kind of programming stuff takes so much time and it's such a pain. I just can't do that. I don't have time to do any of that stuff. To be totally honest with you, I don't have time to even work on this M5 right now, but we're just trying to do her anyway, right? If you don't sleep, you get more done. I think that's the model we're going on right now. But yeah, that's 70 people in here. Thank you guys very much for watching the live stream. Jump on at the last minute. And yeah, just catch you guys up. Do you want to see under the car? I want to show you the progress. I got to make a lot of noise to show you under the car because it's on the lift, but it's not lifted up. So I'm going to make some noise for you guys, except I'm got the camera pointing the wrong way. And hold your ears for 10 seconds. I'm going to lift this thing up in the air. We're going to show you underneath of it. One second. Some rusty ass brakes though. All right. And there it is. I'm gonna grab my light here and I'll show you guys. Sorry for the racket, but not much we could do about it. So a few things. Look at the boot or the bushing. That's not good. Oh, thank you, Rich. I should have to pay you $5 for listening to that lift go up, right? So the whole cross member is out of this car. Obviously, it's laying on the floor. We just kind of zip tied everything up out of the way. And the coolant line going to the fender, there is a water pump that lies up here. And we got to take this inner fender well out to get to that last hose. And then we just kind of fingered back in a bunch of the bolts here, not to get too crazy with it. And then, oh, you guys weren't saying, a lot of guys are saying, oh, only replace the thrust arm bushings. Well, 94,000 miles. Look at that. That's not going to work out too good, right? And then, oh, we took the exhaust off. Everything's pretty simple. We have all the shields off, laying right there in a big pile. We'll finger those back in place after the engine's out. The Weibo, that's right there. Actually, it looks really good. Is this clear for you guys? You guys let me know. And the SMG box is right here. all that comes out all in one piece with the engine. And I mean, the rest is pretty much history. Nothing to it. The oil filter housing that's up in here will have to come out of the bumper. That'll have to be pulled with the engine. We cannot get to the other side of the hoses up here. And then back here, we'll just zip off the old air compressor and zip tie it out of the way. We'll put our hydraulic table down here under it and our transmission jack, which is right there. They go down the same height. And zip the tranny mounting bolts out, take your brace off the engine, and it's out. So we left everything in just like this. We did not mess with any of that stuff. Now we are gonna take off that nut and that nut to change those control arms. But while you're doing this, there's no reason not to do the control arms, you know, right now. You're taking it off anyway. Why not, right? Why would you not do that? And actually, look what I'm gonna show you this too. Actually got a fold-up table for temporary doing this car because that's got a 63 parts on it. So we can lay everything out. The ECU we took out, I took out. No water damage at all anywhere on it. Everything looks great. That is very, very good. Pieces like this that are hundreds and hundreds of dollars and little coolant lines. Like if this was a G-Wagon, you could take this and just crumble it in your hands. This is side lines that's blowing apart in that thing right now at 87,000 miles. These have no problem at all right now with that mileage. Only on this car. If this was an E90, if this was N52, N54, N55, that would all be ruined. It'll be brittle and nasty. Let me see here. I'll put you back on the holster. So I have a habit of walking around if you're not on this. Resetting that is not, you need to check the tranny fluid in it ASAP. Let me see, how much I expect to spend on getting rear struts replaced on my 2000 E39. Depends on what kind of struts you want to put on it. It depends on if it's M package or regular. There is a little bit of a height difference on the where the coils mount, the spring perch. Cut your losses and sell it. Can't do that. Can't do that at all. This is actually a very easy build. The X6, that was, now we know the S63 is my worst fears were concerned. That is a throwaway engine. That is not a rebuild. No, hell no. That's not that kind of engine at all. That's throwaway. Think about the crime rate in St. Louis. Well, I don't go hang out in St. Louis very much. We have to go there to get cars. We have a lot of friends in St. Louis, but I don't drive the G-Wagon there. I don't drive the Porsche there. We just don't do that kind of thing. And, you know, even when we're closer where we live in Cape Girardeau, crime's bad there. I don't drive. If I drive that stuff there, it's in the morning. It's not in the evening time. Just can't do that. Rich lives in St. Louis, I'll tell you. You're hanging out in no G-Wagon in St. Louis, you get shot up, you crazy? Won't get shot up, you get it stolen. Yeah, Rich is right. North County is probably the worst. Unfortunately, that's where you have to go a lot because that's where all the industry's at, the business that we're in with the cars. But like I said, you don't go at a time you're gonna get shot and murdered. You know, go at a time that you're not going to. But yeah, it's like that anywhere. You know, when I sold the Blue E39, it was up by Chicago. I had to deliver it in Bloomington. Bloomington actually wasn't that bad, but if you go any further north, things go downhill real quick. And when we got the M3, I thank our good friend Sylvester for helping us with that. Luckily, the guy we bought that from is super nice, but we did go through the hood real bad on the way there, and we had some trailer problems on the way back, but we made it out alive. But I don't make it a habit of going places like that anymore. as you get older, just the less places you go like that. If you put yourself in danger, you're gonna find danger. And especially going out of state, you can't carry anything with you to protect yourself. Especially depends on what state you go to. In Missouri, you can. Missouri, you could, if you could drag it along, you could have it. It's not a problem. Though I still had 300,000 mile Sequoia. Actually, it's 400,000. I sold that to my sister's boyfriend. He's still driving it. No problem at all. And it was still a really good car. Just it wasn't, for what I was wanting to do with it, it wasn't up to that task anymore. It's too much of a risk. Let me see here. Rob says I got something in my teeth. Nah, it's crazy. He was texting me, by the way, not in the comments. So yeah, we've been doing a lot of stuff lately. We decided, if you don't know, my sister works for me full time now. Philip, the camera guy, works for me full time. And we've been doing a lot of cooking videos, a lot of MRE stuff lately, and things like that. And looking for my water, I'm thirsty as hell. That's been keeping us busy. We've been doing about 4 videos a week on that. And so if you're into cooking, go over to Nathan's MRE and check it out. If we're not here, guys, we are for sure over there. Hey, look at my deer heads too. Got all those hung up. We're for sure over there. We're posting essentially Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday is usually about the gist of it. Oh my gosh. Come on. It's usually the posting days over there. Now, one thing I have not been doing is posting on the Porsche channel. We saw the red Cayman. I did sell the yellow 911. Right now, we just don't have time at all to do that. Yeah, tomorrow actually I'm making schnitzel, German schnitzel. And so that'll be up Thursday, I believe. We're just doing a lot of stuff, a lot of common things and exotic things on that channel, with a lot of curries and cooking steaks. We did quite a few Italian pasta recipes, some morel mushroom stuff, things like that. I found the M5 on Facebook. Me and Philip was looking through it that one day. He was getting ready to leave, and we're just kind of rolling through it. And I was rolling through, and I stopped, and I was getting ready to click back to go look at something else. He's like, wait, what was that white M5 at the bottom of the page? So I went back and looked, and that was this car. That's how things work with this. You just barely catch stuff, and then all the stuff that seems like it's easy to get is hard to get, right? So called the guy. He knew exactly who I was as soon as I called him. With BMW stuff, when I go to buy a car, 90% of the time, they already know who I am. They watch the videos, especially an E-chassis car, something we've worked on before. And essentially what had happened, he had bought the car, took it to a local shop. He bought the car locally, took it to a local shop. The guy at the shop was so far away from ever fixing this car, he was light years away. And I went there, and he had those little, what the hell, snap-on little flashlights on the side of his head with the glasses on it. And he's looking at me and squinting and stuff. And he said, oh, it's out there. It needs an engine. It needs a transmission. I said, okay. And he said, it won't start. It won't move. Won't do nothing. So I brought the laptop with us, as you saw in the video. And within 5 minutes, we had it running and driving, going in gear. And we actually drove it on the trailer. And but the guy that bought it didn't know anything about it. But he did know enough to where he knew if he tried to fix this thing, it would empty his checking account in 2 seconds. And so he had enough common sense to pass it on to the next person, which is me. And I mean, we could definitely fix it no matter what here. It's just, I wasn't really want to do another engine out because there's so much crap already apart in the shop. But that's the way life is. You just never know when that's gonna work out like that. Let me see. Your videos are the reason I own 4 BMWs. Oh man, don't blame me for that. But thank you very much for watching. Where do you get your parts? M54, E60. Remember seeing the video you mentioned. Man, I don't go to ECS tuning or FPC Euro. They have not been friendly to me in the past. The shipping is atrocious through there. That was an option earlier today. I'm buying the G-Wagon hoses. And so essentially how it works. Let's say you need a part like a G-Wagon coolant line. If it's on eBay, you could buy it. There's usually only genuine parts for that vehicle on there. Same goes with certain, like the M5 parts, the same way. Certain parts, you can only buy the factory stuff because nothing else exists, right? So we needed one little coolant line this long, was $112. The other little connector piece that I thought maybe we need while we're there was $59 off eBay, right? I think it was like $146 or so out the door. The same exact parts, the same exact stuff on FPC Euro was $236. And it's just like, why? It's the same part. It's all factory stuff. And I actually considered buying it through there to make sure I get it quicker. But then I remember that is never the case with those guys. The free shipping was 13-day shipping. Goo. We don't know. We're not waiting 13 days to put that thing back together. And so I bought it off eBay. It'll be here, what was it? Well, by the end of the week. Well, by Friday, no problem. Both pieces. So then we could do that. It's just one of those deals. I cannot justify paying almost double the price and waiting almost 2 weeks to get it. And we had problems with them before. I bought something from ECS before. It just took forever to get anything because it takes them almost a week to ship it and then another week to get here. It's just like, man, it's just crazy. And a lot of guys try to do this. Oh, it's lifetime warranty. But you're going to have 20 grand in a $3,000 car. You can't do that. It doesn't make any sense. Yeah, you gotta be careful buying stuff off eBay. You very well could get China stuff. China only makes like the common things though. Anything rare, they don't bother with that. It's like M5 parts, you're fairly safe with a lot of stuff off that. G-Wagon parts, you're 100% safe. Yeah, well, this says FCP was 13-day shipping. And then if you wanted, the quickest you get is 4 days, and it was like $60 more. And it was like, man, there's no way. Before I did that, I would literally call the dealership, and those guys are assholes there. I would call them, order it, go drive and pick it up. That's how we got the door stuff for the G-Wagon. That's how we got all the bits before, all the power steering line stuff, and tank for that. That's not an economical way to do it. It's cheaper than FPC Euro. I'm just gonna put that out there. About the same price, but since you don't have to pay for shipping, we just go pick it up. That's the way to go. Now, if you guys are up in Massachusetts, Connecticut area, and you're real close to those places, maybe that's worth doing it. I don't know. Let me see here. 6K into E46, yeah. And like you heard me say in the last video with the control arm kits for these cars, I never buy the factory control arms, the limit offer stuff for these. For any car, you just can't do that. It's like $1,200. It's just stupid to do that. All the kits, I'll probably put 30 or 40 or more control arm kits on BMWs. You know how many these come apart because they're aftermarket kits? None. Those aftermarket arms last about 100K, about 100,000 miles, the same as the factory ones. But the factory ones, if you get to 100K, you need to do it all, like I was telling you. We don't use the sway bar links out of those cheap kits. We don't use usually the tie rod. Depends on what it is. the kit I got for the M5 doesn't even have the tire rods even with it. Just didn't need it. Let me see here. But 180, yeah, E46 at 180K needs everything. Everything. I would love to buy some more BMW stuff and fix it, but you just gotta figure, like, when is it worth saving? If you're not emotionally attached to it, what can you buy a car for that makes it worth saving, especially like a lower budget car? E46, E39, stuff that's worth 3 or 4 or 5 grand at the best case. And if you pay, let's say you pay $1,000 for an E46 that needs some work, and it's worth $4,500, right? If you have to do engine work, it's been overheated, you got to do control arms, you got to do transmission service, you got to do all the coolant related stuff, you got to do the valve cover, CCV, you need to do tires, you need to do brakes, and it's just not worth it. You know, it's just not. And in the very end, you have to ask more for a car than what it's worth. And it just doesn't make sense. If you're only buying it because you're emotionally attached to the car and you just want to fix and drive it, that's different. About the 2 plastic window clips for the regulator on the 53, $4. Shipping costs about $10. Yep. Yep. Yeah, I don't know why they send a lot of parts to a lot of YouTubers. Both those companies do, but only to the big YouTubers, not to, you know, small YouTubers like me, mid-size YouTubers like me. Mid-size, I guess, right? Not fun size, mid-size. That's what I call this channel. And but yeah, I think other than that, a little bit of trouble with YouTube ad revenue lately. If any of you guys are YouTubers on here, I don't know if anybody is. I think everybody's been having the same problem. Very frustrating. You know, we've got more views this last month on all the channels combined than ever before. And ad revenue is like half what it should be. Kind of unfortunate when you're buying M5s. But yeah, a lot of stuff going on like that. Usual, typical YouTube stuff. I'd really like to start some kind of other business. But the time frame situation is kind of hard to come by, we'll say. I'd love to start something that was economy proof, because we don't know when the economy crashes, probably this next year, what will YouTube ad revenue look like? I don't know. I have 2 employees now to look out for. I have a bunch of expensive toys. What is the bottom of that? Nobody knows. And so it would be nice to have something else to fall back on as far as secondary business, but man, how do you have time to do that? What is the business? Is it working on cars? No, it's not. I don't want to do that. Our local shop is having issues right now, and I think they're looking for a buyer to buy it. But do I want to work on Chevys and Ford and Dodges every day, covered in cow crap and running the ground and Chevy Cobalts? No, I don't. Would it be easy to work on? Probably, except everything would break when you go and take stuff off. But I don't want to do that. That is an option, but yeah. The other part is trying to find somebody to work that knows what they're doing is another problem, right? And yeah, let's see. I'm trying to read some of these comments. I had to touch a screen to be able to do that. M55 at 500 horsepower, would not want to try that. That would not last very long. Best tires for 2013 X5 N63 all-wheel drive, in your opinion? Okay, we'll talk about tires a little bit. You guys heard me talk about that a lot. A lot of guys want to buy what I call the California tire. Michelin Cup, Super Sport. This car has Michelin's on it, Cup Series. They're new tread. They're all dry rotted. They're all nasty looking. Here's my opinion about that. We run those Falcon tires and everything, those Iwatsu Falcon FP 7000, 8000s. Those are fairly inexpensive tires, and they're good on everything. They're good. They're pretty sticky. They do good if you caught in the rain or snow or anything. They're a good all-around tire. A lot of the Michelins, that's only a dry, fair weather tire. Anything else on the road, they were totally worthless. You will crash and die a horrifying death. That's my findings on the tire situation, and they cost a lot of money. So I think you're a lot better off on that X5, E53 X5. Jesus, can't remember. No, that was what, 13 with E70. I can't remember. But anyhow, so with Owasus, you're probably looking at $600. With Michelin's, you're probably looking at what, $300 per tire. So it depends on what you want, right? Bridgestone's kind of the same way. They're expensive as hell. It depends on how much you want to spend. You have to understand something though. Your Owasu tires are going to outlast the Michelin's, the Bridgestones, and all that. Usually, a lot of problems with those more expensive tires, they separate. We've never had a Owasu separate. Have we had Bridgestones and Michelin separate? Yes, yes, yes. I bought those for one of the Sequoias I used to have, and they separated. They're horrible, horrible tire. A lot of times the sport tires aren't soft sidewall. For truck tires, a lot of those Michelins are 4-ply and very soft sidewall. If you have a heavier vehicle, that will not fly. Yeah, I was like last year E70. But yeah, check it out. I mean, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just telling you what I do, right? And that's my opinion of it, right? So take it for what you will. Where are you at, Missouri? I'm about an hour south of St. Louis. So, but yeah. So as of right now, am I taking any other viewers' cars here to work on? No. I want to be clear on that. No, I don't like doing that because I feel bad for people. Like if they can't get something fixed anywhere, I feel like I'm obligated to help them. It's a trait I guess I have. I want to try to help everybody. That's not feasible at all. Does it mean I won't take a viewer's car? No, it depends on what it is. It has to be something I want to work on. Was taking the S63 X6M mistake? Perhaps. Probably not though. I mean, I feel bad for the owner of that car because the parts are so expensive and it needs so much, it's not worth fixing that car. It's a very unfortunate situation. He's gonna have to take a loss on this car. What's gonna happen right now, we're gonna put it back together and take it back to him. And that'll be his deal to sell. If nobody buys it here, it's just the way things roll. And yeah, other than that, I think that's pretty much all I got for you guys. I'm trying to think of anything else interesting or crazy. But there's not. Yeah, been playing Gordon Ramsay every day and cooking stuff. And I think maybe we're gonna do some rats or something crazy coming up the next week or two. And so stay tuned for that. A lot of times we post on there, I'll post links on my Facebook page up for this channel. If it's something real crazy, I'll do like a community post for it and post it up there like that. Let me see here. Long-time subscriber. A ton of money is because of you. N63 is one of the lucky ones. Maintain the hell out of it. I'm trying to read 3 different things at once. People's texting me and everything. It's 105,000 notice. Yeah. That's the same as S63, man. So be cautious of all those cool lines and all that stuff. Yeah, Joplin is what, 3.5, 4 hours away? 3.5. So pretty good ways across the other side of the state. I try to answer, I'm gonna talk real quick about one more thing. I try to answer all the questions, guys. People get angry at me on this channel and on the MRA channel. You gotta understand, I cannot answer everybody's question. I just cannot do that. We have emails coming in. We put the email address back in all the vehicle descriptions again, or the video descriptions, getting tired. And that just spawns a whole bunch of emails, a whole bunch of nightmare. And people that have my number, text me, answer me questions. If you have my number, I don't mind answering a question for you because I know you fairly decently if you have my number. But the leaving comments, call me, please help me. I try to help as many people as I can. Literally, I probably get to 5% of the comments anymore. I try to go on and see the videos posted. I'll try to go on there and like everybody's stuff. I don't write too much anymore because it's on time. And a lot of times when we post on this channel, we'll also post on another channel at the same time. And so I'm trying to bounce back and forth and answer some questions and try to like stuff to show everybody that I still care. I'm still there, but it just spread way too thin as far as that kind of stuff goes. I just can't get to it. And if I answered everybody's question, everybody will write back and thousands of new people will write in and you just double swamp yourself. So I try to pace myself on any of that kind of stuff. But it's been busy for years like that. It's just this kind of business, this kind of video sparks that kind of interest. E53 4.4. Yeah, 06 said the N62 in it. Timing chains won't. Yeah. So your engine does not have timing chain failure. Only the valve stem seals. Last month, bought my first E39. Your videos helped me so much. Thank you very much. But yeah, it's gonna be it, guys. I'm freaking dead tired. Been running pretty hard today, and tomorrow's gonna be no different. And so tomorrow, let me see here. We're cooking Russian buckwheat with egg, like breakfast stuff. Stay tuned for that video tomorrow. If you guys are not subscribed to Nathan's MRE, go subscribe right now. Nathan's MRE. And go check it out. It's very interesting. We're now doing videos everybody can watch. And you get to see this old timer on there doing stuff and my sister on there. So if you like seeing her, go check her out and that kind of thing. But yeah, it's going to be it, guys. We'll see y'all later. Thank you all very much for watching the live stream. Have a good day. And now we're going to try to figure out how to turn this thing off, which might be interesting. Sure you want to end streaming? Yes, sir.